I don't care how much tech we end up having over these next 10 years, the physicality of the business is going to remain. This is Byron Lazine and Nicole White, and you are tuned in to episode 122 of The Real Word.
Word is up.
Did I do that right?
You did, I think.
All right, good. I think so, too.
I'm so happy that you know what number we're at.
It felt good.
The only reason that I knew you were right was because I remember having the 21 discussion last week, but that never made it into the video.
No. What was that, before the video?
No, it was during the video.
It was during the video.
We were gonna go backtrack and look through all the other shows. Yeah.
All right, we've got a good lineup here today after Memorial Day weekend. I hope everybody is doing well out there.
And we're back. You're back to my left.
I am back. We are.
But don't touch your face.
I had an itch. My hands are washed. All right, up first, racket number one. The Coldwell Banker CEO Ryan Gorman says real estate has already undergone a tremendous transition. It's already happened. The transition has happened. I would agree with him, by the way, but just in different areas.
I mean, it had to transition, right?
Coldwell Banker CEO Ryan Gorman told CNBC it's not just millennials who are open to home buying virtually or buying homes virtually.
Well, no one really has a choice.
Right now, correct. Well, here's the thing, and I'm not going to pick apart his quote here.
It's interesting, though, because even stores are now having to do their stores virtual. Like, everybody is virtual. I mean, I think this is a little premature of an article.
Have you bought less clothes throughout this, though?
Oh, my God. I'm dying to go back to TJ Maxx. I told my husband I'm going to have to, find the right time. I don't know if that's, at 8 a.m. on a Thursday or, 6 p.m. on a Tuesday, but, I can't go, on the weekends.
Because everybody's there?
There were lines.
Oh.
I haven't done my poor kids. I ended up having to sort of undo their seams on their shoes because their feet were getting too big, but I don't know what size they are. So you know what I mean? They had to they were busting out of their shoes a little. Yeah, you follow me?
Yeah, that's happened to me before.
Yeah. So I can't buy. I'm not going to buy them online. You know.
It's tough. It's a tough one. So CEO Coldwell Banker says, I don't think it's not just millennials who are open to this, buying homes virtually. 60 to 70% of all the buyers we're talking to, so he's talking about Coldwell Banker, are looking at areas, properties, and even potentially making offers on properties, having only seen them virtual right now, which I think speaks a lot to the pent-up demand. Okay, I agree with him. A lot of pent-up demand. Lack of inventory here locally, and everybody's market is different when you look at their local geographic area. Here locally, we're seeing multiple offers. I mean, Ryan on our team had a buyer that went in, I think, at full price, and there was 10 or 12 offers, and just totally got blown away that this thing went. You know, we're seeing locally the average price homes are flying off the market.
Well, I think, though, what's interesting here, though, that we need to keep in, based on what he wrote there about, people looking at areas, properties, even potentially making offers virtually. I think what he should touch on here, which he didn't, is the amount of people that are potentially leaving. And I think we've talked about this maybe a few episodes ago, buyers, fleeing major metropolitan areas, cities. So of course they're doing it virtually because they're probably at this point, maybe an hour, 2 hours away, trying to get themselves introduced to areas. I mean, how many people have you talked to that, hey, do I go to this town, this town, this town? What do they offer? And you're sending websites, you're sending as many videos as you can.
They're doing the research virtually, but they've been doing that for a long time.
Well, I hear you, but I think that, obviously this is really the only option. So of course,
But my point is that we're also, and we're on the Connecticut shoreline, we're, in a car, we're 2 hours from Manhattan. So
and the same from Boston. We can't neglect
and
Boston.
2 hours from Boston. But I'm still seeing those buyers, before they actually make the offer on the house, get in there physically.
Oh, of course.
And so I don't think he was saying that 60 to 70% of buyers they're talking to, I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt, are making offers virtually. We're not seeing anything close to that number. It is a very, very small group of people that'll make offers virtually. And a lot of times it's military situation where maybe one of the two have been in a house.
I have a deal right now, actually. They are in Alaska. But it is military.
It's military.
Well, they're not even going to see the house until weeks after it closes because they have to drive down from Alaska.
You see that with the military more than you see it with here locally, I should say, than with any other group of buyer. They also typically will get moving expenses paid for. So they have like some perks about buying that the average buyer doesn't have, quite frankly.
Well, but I think we also need to mention too that in Connecticut, real estate is essential. So for them to get into properties is still available, right? And has been.
And we've got a lot of contacts and friends that are Manhattan brokers, and they can't get people physically into the space. So you can just look at what's happened in New York City. When you talk about these virtual showings or virtual offers really taking off, it's not going to be the case. In New York City, the market has essentially come to a dead stop. And that's because the only way you can really buy something in a high rise where there's a doorman and an elevator, you can't get into that property. So the only way to do it is to have a virtual showing and make a virtual offer. And you've seen in Manhattan that the market is at a standstill. They can't meet clients, they can't show clients, and essentially their deal flow has gone down to almost nothing. The reason why there are certain markets moving is because there are certain markets that are essential, that are allowing people into these homes safely, with a mask on, with whatever the protocol is for that specific area. Mm-hmm. So I just don't believe that we're going to get into a consistent flow of buyers buying properties without getting into them. It's literally, I was talking to yesterday in Memorial Day, I was talking to a really good friend of mine. He works out of Manhattan. He hasn't been there for weeks, but they do these large acquisitions. So that he'll represent a company that wants to buy out another company. And these are like $100 million deals, right? These are like tech deals, huge deals. And I said, your business must not be impacted at all because it's like coming down to the number. He goes, no, we haven't done a deal since this. It's on pause because we have to go. When somebody's going to buy a company for $100 million, they have to sit with them and meet with them.
And there's nobody working in an office. You can't even go out to dinner.
But that's their point. He's like, usually we're doing dinners and boardroom meetings before these deals close. He goes, these deals are not closing. They're not even happening. They're all on pause because of, and it blew my mind. I'm like, these $100 million deals, you actually need to get physically in front of the buyer and the seller. It kind of blew my mind. And when you think about, none of us, or the majority of us, 99.9% of us are not going to ever do a $100 million deal. But when you think about a $350,000 home purchase, a $500,000 home purchase, that is our $100 million deal.
Right.
Our buyers, our sellers are making their big $100 million acquisition, and they need to get in there and see what they're going to be living in.
Of course.
They need to feel it, and they need to feel good about it before they move forward.
Yeah.
So I don't care how much tech we end up having over these next 10 years. The physicality of the business is going to remain.
That I agree. I think at the final stretch for sure. But I think what'll be really interesting to see is how sellers' mentality changes, because right now it's so easy for sellers to say, did they watch? Did they watch the virtual tour? Or you have to watch agents are requiring you to watch a virtual tour before you're even allowed to go into the home. And so are those going to eliminate a lot of these first showings? Much like photos have done. We always kind of called it the first showing, where maybe these virtual tours, maybe the virtual tours will end up being sort of that second showing. But it'll be interesting to see how much sellers become or require more of these virtual tours, so that they know that when people are really coming in their house, they're cleaning for, a reason.
These virtual showings and tours, whether it's on Zoom or anything else, is a great FaceTime, whatever, is a great way to narrow down the actual homes you're going to get into.
For sure.
You know what he did say on here? He and every single broker in America says the same exact thing, like, the proprietary tools that we have, as well as proprietary tools developed by Coldwell Banker or its parent company, Realogy, to bring both listings and neighborhoods to life for clients. Bull. All right? I'm sick of hearing brokers say that they have...
Have you been practicing that voice?
No, I just came up with it. It's like my Hermit the Crab.
No,
frog?
None of it. It sounds like none of it.
Hermit?
No, nothing. None of it.
This is baloney. What they're doing, every single brokerage included.
Oh, they're using this opportunity.
So I'm not just going to pick on Coldwell Banker.
Yeah.
We have all these proprietary tools. No. you're sending out an email encouraging your agents to use Zoom and Facebook Live. Those aren't proprietary. That's not a proprietary solution. That's a training solution. You don't have proprietary tools for virtual showings. I haven't seen one. I know I have a lot of Coldwell Banker friends. Doesn't reference it in the article, so that is complete baloney. But what I did think was interesting, and I'll get your take on this.
Oh boy.
He did say that they're seeing a huge need for office space. He was actually doing this interview with CNBC from his middle school son's bedroom. And so a lot of people are now factoring in that they may, hey, if I was looking at 4 bedrooms, maybe I need a 5th bedroom or 3 to 4 or an office in a location in the house or an outbuilding or something like that.
100%. I'm actually working with a buyer right now that she lives in New York City, and her company is now allowing her to work from home. So she's actually she's moving into a house. She's moving to Connecticut because it would be super easy for her to hop on a train. So now with us looking, she is looking for an office space because that's now where she's going to be. So not only is she relocating because she can work from home, obviously she's needing space for absolute. I mean, we all are going to. In all honesty, I think no matter what, even if you go back to work, you now are certainly re-examining the way your house works. How do your kids' bedrooms work? Where is everyone able to retreat to get some private time? Will roll into sort of our next racket about outdoor space too. I mean, I think everybody is 100% reevaluating how all of their spaces are being, even the office space that we have here, we're reevaluating how can we maximize it? How can it work best for everybody? Literally today. I'm in my sweatpants because we have to move furniture. But
isn't it interesting how much it's totally flipped overnight? Where everybody wanted to be crammed into these downtown sections of whatever particular town or area they're in so that they can walk to restaurants. And now people are willing overnight to live a little bit further away because heck, I don't even know when I'm going to be able to enjoy that restaurant.
Right now, they also now they need pools because what are they going to do all summer?
Which
and they
is
need
racket
basketball
number 2.
courts.
Before we get into the pool racket, James Sanson, in the comment section of this Inman article, which of course will be linked up. Truth be told, most of the CEOs are not dialed into the pulse of the market, James. I'd agree with that, especially CEOs at the level we're talking about with Ryan. And you know what? I shouldn't beat him up because I don't know him.
Yeah.
I know people that have conversations with him a lot. Very, very top, high-end Coldwell Banker agents. And they think highly of him.
He made it on Inman, though. I mean, he made it.
He's made it on Inman before.
He needed to. No, I'm just saying though. He's popped his head in. He's letting everybody know that Coldwell Banker is still here and still moving. Have you seen their new signs? Their new signs are out.
Yeah, they're ugly. I have seen them. All right, racket number 2. In listings, show off that pool and the outdoor space. This is a Realtor Mag article.
I went back.
So are you seeing an uptick in pools? Is it just seasonality? What is it?
Well, yes. So I'm definitely seeing an uptick in pools. It's so funny. I got a text over the weekend. This woman wants to rent somebody's pool for the summer. I said, excuse me? She's like, I don't need the house. They can still sell it. If there's a vacant home that that has a pool, I would like to rent it for the summer. Have you ever gotten a request like that? I've never gotten a request like that. Were you even listening to me? What did I say?
People renting, they wanted a pool for the summer.
Just the pool?
Just the pool.
No house.
They wanted to rent a pool.
You were
They
not
didn't want to rent a house.
You weren't listening.
Well, I thought just houses with a pool. All right, that's interesting.
No, they live in town. They want a house in town that has a pool that they can use.
But they don't want to rent that. That's weird, is what that is. All right. Robert Revkin, the CEO of Compass, he told CNBC doing a lot of interviews with real estate people. So both of these referencing
I think it's everyone's question, right?
He told CNBC's
How's my house doing? We're all living in our homes. Of course it's real estate. Yes, I do think there's an uptick.
You want me to say what he said?
Well, I'm just...
Single family
you weren't
homes
listening to me, so...
on the Compass website with pools are up threefold. So 3 times the amount of searches they typically get for homes with pool. Further listings showing off outdoor space appear to be more in demand with home buyers lately. So outdoor space, I love it when they do the whole patio with the fire pit, a nice one, a nice fire pit built in.
I showed a house a few days. I'm going to have to show you the backyard. It was amazing. They built this patio into sort of the cliff. So the hot tub. Oh my God, it was amazing. Anyway.
New York Times said that homeowners are paying more attention to sprucing up their backyards. Oh my God, if you are paying attention to your Facebook market in your area, there's swings, backyard swing sets and
trampolines.
Trampolines. Those are flying off the market.
If you drive by the White House, my White House, my husband has been home. My grass has never been greener.
Wow.
Yes, my gardens have never looked it's mulched. It's amazing.
Fire pits, play sets, bounce houses, basketball hoops, the more and more to keep children entertained at home. So people are just planning on being and using their property and their home a lot more than they ever were in the past.
Yeah. We have a client that installs tennis courts. He also does basketball courts. I know that he's been wildly busy. I think mostly because people don't want to be in this position again.
Right.
And obviously the uncertainty of knowing whether this is going to happen again in the fall or even maybe again next spring is uncertain. So I think people that have the money and are able to do it are certainly planning for the possibility of, this happening again.
I read an article on one of these sites here, one of these big national news sites, was quoting one of the scientists from that lab in China.
Yeah.
And said, this will just keep happening forever.
Yeah.
So I guess if it happens for the rest of our lives, then we're gonna have to figure that out.
For sure.
All right, Marketeer of the week.
But I don't think that's a racket. I think the outdoor space is important.
Yeah, I don't think it's a racket at all. This is a racket. The Marketeer of the week is an absolute racket. I don't know how the heck this person, they really figured out the hack. They got on Fox News. The broke agent featured them. You sent it to me from what? Realtor Mag. It was on everything.
I don't even know where. No, I don't think it was on there. Was it on Forbes? Where did I send it to you from?
It was everywhere. The article I've pulled up happens to be from Fox News, but it was literally everywhere. Bigfoot shown enjoying
maybe that's where I sent it to you from.
A home in a real estate listing. And so nothing sells a house like a mythical creature. I don't know. This is Daniel Oster Real Estate. I've heard the name before.
Have you?
Yeah, I have. I don't know where. But props to Daniel. He's hacked the system. He had somebody, maybe it was him. And according to New York Post, the real estate agent, so it was in the Post. This dude got everywhere. Daniel.
Must have been a late news day.
He came up with the idea. He presented it to the sellers. Basically, if you go through the photos, and we'll put some up right now. So edit those in. A couple photos of the Bigfoot in the listings.
Yeah, reading the magazine.
Came up with the idea, presented to the sellers. They agreed, hoping that including a Sasquatch in their photos would bring a sense of humor to the listing. It was priced at nearly $1 million.
Wow.
And has reportedly generated...
Did it sell?
A lot of interest. No, but it's generated a lot of interest.
Of course, they always generate a lot of interest.
Certainly, he's gotten a lot of eyeballs on this property. You can't get a PR campaign like this, without spending some serious money.
Are you a believer in Bigfoot? Do you believe? You think he's out there somewhere?
I'm a believer in aliens, so I don't. Would that make me a believer of the potential of a Bigfoot?
I don't know. It's up to you. It's a yes or no. It's a yes or no. I'm not trying to talk you into being a believer. My husband's a believer. When he retires, that's his goal. Is to find Bigfoot.
I would say
he watches all the shows on TV.
I would say that if Bigfoot was on planet Earth, we would have some hard evidence on him. The alien thing, we can't really get to these planets. Maybe Elon can, but eventually. But I would say that we don't know everything about the aliens. I'd find it hard to believe. If I had to bet my life on it, I'd say no, there's not a Bigfoot out there.
Well, someone else is using Bigfoot right now in their marketing. Is that some insurance company, right?
Well, that's what I don't get. So that's what I really don't get about this. And props to you, Daniel. You're the Marketeer of the week. Job well done. You got so much attention I couldn't even imagine. But I've seen people do this hack before, where they have somebody dress up as Bigfoot or some other ridiculous cartoon,
like the dinosaur
whatever
thing.
And they're putting them in listings. And, they're getting a little bit of traction, but nothing to the level of what this dude just got.
Well, it's progressive.
And to me, when I see have you
seen the commercial?
Oh, so he tied off of something that was trending.
Probably.
This Bigfoot is trending on Progressive.
Yeah.
So Daniel, really, that makes it even a level 10 Marketeer of the week because you played off of something that was trending, this Progressive commercial.
He's like, my name's not. He's like, why do you call me Bigfoot? And he's like, my name is Scott.
Okay.
Yeah.
So job well done. You played off something that was trending and it really took off. Because when I think of these gimmicky things, I would just scroll right past it. I saw it on the broke agents thing. I think I made a comment on Instagram. It's just okay, we've seen this before, But hey, you did a recall. Whether it's a recall or not, you did a great job because you got a lot of attention.
What's your little thing you like to say?
If it works, do it.
ROP?
ROP?
No?
ROP.
Rip off, repeat.
Oh, that's a Tom Ferry. Rip off and duplicate.
Yeah.
R&D.
RN?
R&D.
Oh, R&D.
R&D.
Oh,
rip off and duplicate.
Yeah.
You know, it used to be research and development. Now it's rip off and duplicate.
Okay.
Per Tom Ferry. All right. Good job to Daniel.
Feels
Oster.
good to be back. It feels good to be
real
back
good
in
to be
here.
back. Yeah.
The lights are on.
Yeah.
You're next to me.
The rackets are happening. My trophy is here. All right. That's only for the people that were watching and not listening. Is that it, Nicole? You got anything else?
It sounds like you've really put the explanation point on to the end.
You got any Sasquatch videos or photos? Send them to us for next week. No, you won't get Marketeer of the Week 2 weeks for that, but good week. Good job, Daniel. We'll be back next week. Racketeers out there. Racketeers. That's what we should call everybody. The Racketeers.
Keep it real, people. Keep it real.
See ya.